guys, I am back today, this time to film a review video on not one, but two books. And those books are The Children of Hurin by J.R.R. Tolkien and Cinder by Marissa Meyer. So the first book I'm going to go into is going to be The Children of Hurin, since I finished this one first. So this book takes place roughly 1,000 to 2,000 years before the events in Lord of the Rings, and it follows Hurin and his son Hurin and a little bit of his daughter and his wife, but not so much a big part of the book as Hurin is. And their struggle against Morgoth, who is like the first and greatest Dark Lord to have ever overcome Middle-earth. So the book starts out kind of chronicling Hurin and his history and his struggle against Morgoth, and ultimately he ends up failing in his battle against him and is imprisoned on this throne and is forced by Morgoth to watch basically the destruction of his home and his country, Middle-earth, and he can't do anything about it. He just is forced to sit there for however long Morgoth intends him to sit there and watch the suffering of others, including his family. And he lays a curse on his family that doom will follow them wherever they go. And it then follows Hurin and a little bit of his wife and daughter as they struggle against this curse, culminating at the end. And I don't want to give too much away, but it's a really sad book. It was sad. I liked it though. It was depressing. It had a very sad ending. But I think for anybody who is a fan of Tolkien and The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, they will enjoy this book. It wasn't as dense as The Silmarillion. It was definitely a lot more accessible, though it was still a little bit more dry than The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. It read really similar to a lot of the epic ballads and poems and stories from like the Middle Ages and the Dark Ages. Like Beowulf, which makes sense because that was his area of study. But it was still a good book, and I think it gives a good perspective for anybody who has read and enjoyed The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. It didn't take that long to get through. It's not that big. Big chunk of this book is actually like appendices and stuff, so the actual story isn't too long. So I recommend it. 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was a good book. The next book I read was Cinder by Marissa Meyer, and I enjoyed this book. It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. I think maybe because I heard so many people talking about how good it was going to be, or how good it was, that I had slightly higher expectations than what I actually read. But I still really enjoyed it. I really like Cinder. I thought she was a very strong female protagonist, which I enjoyed. I loved her sarcasm and her sense of humor. For those of you who might not be familiar with what the book's about, it's basically just a futuristic retelling of fairy tales, with the first book being about Cinderella, who's a human cyborg reviled by her stepmother and one of her stepsisters, and you kind of find out through the course of the book that there's a lot more to Cinder that will affect the history of Earth and the moon, which is kind of trying to be at war with Earth. I don't want to give too much away, but I don't know, I enjoyed it. It was a little bit predictable. I think by the 40th page I kind of knew where the story was going, but it really didn't detract from my enjoyment of the book. I still really liked it, and it's a quick read. If I hadn't have been obsessively watching Merlin all week, I would have finished it in like a day and a half, 2 days. But as such, since I was only reading it like before bed, I still finished it in under a week, and I enjoyed it. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. I definitely am going to continue to read the series. I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm gathering that it follows different characters. I believe the next one is Scarlet's like Sleeping Beauty, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I like to go into books slightly blind. I like to know too much, but that's just my knowledge of the series. So yeah, I recommend it. It's a quick read. I think if you enjoy fairy tale type books, you will enjoy this book. It won't take you long to get through it all. But yeah, those are the 2 I've read. I am currently reading Graceling. I'm only about 30 pages in, but I really like it so far. So I will be posting a review video of that, I anticipate, soon. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. So until next time, bye!